Hello everyone, welcome back to Curvy Stitches, my sewing and crafting channel. I love vintage fashion. Since I've been working from home, I decided that I wanted to have some comfier clothing. So I decided to make this sewing pattern, Simplicity 8342. It's got a vintage style, but everything is made out of knit fabric, so it should be very comfy. I usually sew much more structured garments, but this time I really wanted to wear something comfortable that I could laze about the house in, that wasn't another pair of sweatpants or another baggy t-shirt. So let's get started. For my fabric, I picked these three knit fabrics that I already had in my stash. For the skirt, I picked this lovely floral print. It's got a nice bumpy texture. I've had it forever. I bought it back when Hancock Fabrics was going out of business. To me, it's the perfect kind of retro pattern. It's red roses, what more could you want? I picked this one to go first because it was the one with the least amount of pieces. Sewing, I thought wouldn't be too hard. However, I soon ran into trouble with my sewing machine. I kept skipping stitches. I thought maybe it was the thread, maybe it was the tension, maybe it's this new fancy machine that I don't really know how to use. Turns out it was the wrong needle. I completely spaced and did not put a jersey needle on my machine before I started sewing with my knit fabric. And here you can see the result of that. The thread just kind of ate itself instead of actually going through my material. Luckily, all I had to do was switch out the needle and then everything was fine. Sewing up the skirt, after that didn't take too much time. Sewed up the darts, sewing the two back pieces together and then the back to the front. Here I am sewing some gathering stitches for the ruffle. This part was probably my favorite part. I love ruffles and gathers and little fancy trims like that. And the waistband also was fairly simple. I made sure to interface it so that it would not have any stretch. As much as I enjoy the stretch in this fabric, I did not want any stretch in the waistband. I wanted it to sit at my waist and not move up or down. For the skirt, I didn't do a test fitting because I was fairly sure that my measurements matched up with the size I cut. After that, the pants were pretty simple. I used this stash of jersey knit fabric I had with this cheetah print. I did some minimal pattern matching with the gold stripe that went across the thighs. You can see here I'm matching up the crotch lines between the two pattern pieces just so I can make sure that it'll roughly fall around the same area. I wasn't really trying to make it perfect. I also used the gold section to make a contrast cuff and made sure to cut the waistband out of the same cheetah print. The pants is identical to the skirt. It's got the same placement of darts. So since I knew the skirt fit me, I knew the pants would fit me as well. I didn't even have to worry about the length because they were supposed to be capri length. So again, I went through this without actually doing a test fitting. Adding the cuffs was not a problem. I made sure I pressed it. Pressing knit fabrics is weird to me because I don't want the temperature to be too high, but at the same time, I'm trying to get some kind of crisp edge. Again, since it's the same pattern, the waistband was the same pattern piece as the skirt. For both the skirt and the pants, I made sure to sew some hook and eyes up at the top. And I didn't record this, but I did install a zipper on both the pants and the skirt. While I was tacking the tops of my cuffs to my pants leg, I accidentally sewed through both layers of my pants. Yeah, so I had to cut that and start over. And lastly, there was the top. I picked this black t-shirt knit. It's very thin but very comfy. I've always wanted to make a shirt out of this fabric. I saved the shirt for last because it had the most pieces and the most confusing construction process. You sew the two eye-shaped sleeve sections to the straps, and then you sew the straps to the bust, and then it was just a whole process. I made sure to cut out my bust pieces one size bigger than what I cut because I knew that I would need that extra space. For the straps, I made sure to interface them because I did not want them stretching too much. Here I pre-attached the interfacing to the straps before cutting out the interfacing. It helped to stabilize the knit so that it wouldn't stretch out anymore. And here's the finished bust piece with the strap and attached shoulder cap sleeve. Weird friggin' shape. Getting it all attached together was really difficult because you had to tuck pieces inside of other pieces, and when you were sewing the seam, you have to make sure that you don't accidentally catch the pieces inside of each other. I made sure to add some stabilizing elastic under the armholes, making sure to understitch along the armholes as well. This part was the most frustrating to me. While the skirt and the pants were pretty straightforward, this had so many ins and outs and edges, and for some reason this fabric would not stay flat the entire time. And for someone who's used to sewing with cottons that stay where you put them, this frustrated me so much because my seams were not perfect. The two sides of the fabric keep drifting away from each other as I sew, so I have to keep an uber close eye on it. However, I've since realized that that's nothing to get upset about. You have a lot of room for forgiveness when you're sewing knits, so I didn't need to be so paranoid. And in fact, I probably could have made all my seams slightly bigger because the shirt came out slightly too big. I did do a proper test fitting of the top because I needed to know where I wanted to put my straps. But in the process, I discovered that the back was way too loose. I did not realize that I had used pretty much double the amount of elastic I needed, but I was able to figure out where I wanted my straps to end. I also realized that I could probably shorten the front as well. It could give me a little bit more coverage in front if I tacked up the front to the sleeves. I went about unpicking one of the side seams so that I could then pull out the elastic and cut it in half. After that, all I did was just sew that seam back up and we're good. I then hand sewed the straps to the back of the top, making sure to slightly stretch it so that the straps would land exactly where I wanted them to. And here's the final product. Honestly, this set is so comfortable. I've been lounging around in this set, especially the pants. The pants are like yoga pants. It really is quarantine chic. I am at home, not going anywhere, but I still look fabulous. I didn't even bother to put a wig on today. I was like, I'm just gonna put my hair into this weird lumpy bun thing. That's all the energy I have today. I like how my patterning came out, my pattern matching and my little gold cuffs I added to the bottom. I did not hem the bottom of the shirt because typically I wanted to wear it tucked into the pants or the skirt, so I didn't want any extra bulk. The top attaches by tying a knot in the front, leaves kind of this slightly awkward hole in the middle, but depending on what you're wearing underneath, it's not that big of a deal. The back fits much better now that I cut the elastic in half. I tend to forget that even though my bust measurement is wide, my back measurement is small. I do need to go back and tack up the sleeves in the front because I forgot to do that, and they kind of tend to fall down. But overall, I'm very happy with the top. It goes nicely with both the skirt and the pants. The skirt also is very comfortable. It's got a lot of elasticity around the hips, but the waist itself is very, very fitted, which is the way I like it because I hate when the waist of my pants and skirts roll down. Favorite part of the skirt by far is the ruffle. Like, I feel like I could go do a little bit of a salsa dance in this thing. Cha-cha-cha, cha-cha-cha-cha, cha-cha-cha-cha-cha-cha. In this video, I am wearing shapewear underneath the outfit, but honestly, I've been lounging around in these clothes with no shapewear at all. They are that comfortable. So that was the video. I hope you enjoyed it. I have been wearing the clothes for several days now, and they are very comfortable. I really enjoy them. Have a good one. Bye.